There is an overwhelming abundance of missing person cases in the world that we live in. A missing person is a person who disappeared with their status being unknown. Luckily, a small handful of people who end up on this list end up getting found. However, for some, as time passes, so does the hope of finding them. Their personality, name, and legacy ends up being forgotten forever, almost as if they never existed. Today, we will be talking about just one of the many missing people in our world. So without further ado, here are the final recorded moments of Brandon Lawson. Brandon Lawson, a 26-year-old oil field worker, came home after a long day of work. Shortly after arriving home, he and his at-the-time girlfriend, Ladessa, got into an argument. The argument consisted of accusations from Ladessa that Brandon was taking drugs after being clean for 6 months. In frustration, Brandon left his home to stay with his father for the night in Crowley, Texas, a 3-hour drive from his home in San Angelo. At about 12:30 a.m. on August 9th, around 30 minutes after leaving his house in San Angelo, Brandon made a phone call to his brother Kyle. In the phone call, Brandon had stated that he had ran out of gas and that he was being, as he put it, chased out of town. In response to this, Kyle and his family drove to Ladessa's house to retrieve a fuel container for Brandon. Unfortunately though, after this first initial phone call, things started to get worse. Kyle stated that the phone calls with Brandon after this wouldn't last longer than a couple of sentences. At approximately 12:50 a.m., 20 minutes after the first phone call, Brandon frantically called 911. When calling this number though, it would dial to a nursing home in Robert Lee, Texas. Still, Brandon had told the operator on the other line that he was out of gas, he was being chased, and he needed to be helped, quickly. At around 1:20 a.m., Kyle once again called Brandon. Little did he know, this would be the final phone call that he would ever have with him. In their final phone call, Brandon sounded like he was out of breath, and he now claimed that he was bleeding. After this, Brandon Lawson was never heard from again. In the aftermath, Kyle came forward and said that he believed that Brandon was taking methamphetamines before his disappearance. Tying this into the situation that Brandon found himself in provides us with a better picture of what went down on that unfortunate night. Another devastating factor in Brandon's situation was that his cell phone service on the night of his disappearance was little to none. This led to many missed calls from family, friends, and police. The last evidence of Brandon and his whereabouts came in the form of his truck that was parked on the side of the road. After these events, Brandon would go missing for a little under 10 years. With recent discoveries though, the question of where is Brandon might finally be solved. On February 4th, 2002, human remains were found in the last known location of Brandon. As of today, an exact answer on if those remains belong to him or not is still yet to be solved.